Hello everybody, Robert here from European Watch Company, coming to you today with a quick take 5. That's 5 of our new arrivals that I think are noteworthy and that I wanted to show to all of you. Since you're here on our YouTube page, please click down and give us that subscribe. If you hit the little bell icon there, you'll be notified of when we're going live for both our horological happy hours and our take 5s. So I have a very interesting selection for you today. I tried to get kind of a big range of very different things, all of which I personally really like. So I wanted to start here with this guy. This is the Rolex Datejust 126234. So this is a stainless steel model with the white gold fluted bezel, Jubilee bracelet, and the now discontinued palm dial. I was surprised at how short Rolex chose to run this watch. I think this palm dial's only, a few years in the catalog. And I think because of that, it's going to be one of those watches that people are seeking out and that when they come up, they sell quickly. This version, fluted with the Jubilee, in my opinion, is the best. It's kind of all the classic Datejust features with a dial that's a little bit more interesting. And I like anything that doesn't take itself too seriously. So a big fan of that one. How can you not like a Datejust? Then, because we didn't talk about any Panerais at all last night on the Horological Happy Hour, I had to make good on that. And I brought what I find to be a really interesting Panerai. This is a 40mm radio mirror in white gold. And this one is from long before they started doing the Due series or any of the current models that they do that are in this more conservative size. This is a C serial, so that dates this to the year 2000. And this was a special edition that they did in white gold. It's a little different because we also, not only is it white gold, but we have the minute marks on it as well, which is kind of very un-Panerai. But in this watch, it works. So, the way I'm dressed today in a jacket and tie, like this 40mm size is really the way to go. And this custom olive green strap on it is a stunner. I've always liked the radio mirrors with these wire lugs and the soft cushion-shaped case. The diamond-shaped crown, it's almost like a pilot crown on it. And we have a display back for the automatic movement back there. Date at 4:30, but other than that, pretty stinking nice. Then we go to something we just got in. I didn't even know this watch existed until a customer traded this to us. This is a Zenith Defi Classic in full carbon. And this watch is incredible because it is almost like disconcertingly lightweight. Like there's really not much here. So if you like kind of the idea of the super lightweight, super comfortable, along with the hyper modern, this is it. And this is the standard time only version. Within this Defi series, they also do a chronograph that is really very remarkable as well. This is a little smaller, a little thinner, a little more wearable. Date at 6 o'clock on this one, which gives you a beautiful symmetry. You get the skeletonized dial, you get a Zenith automatic movement, and again, a full carbon case and bracelet. And it's got a very cool look to it. It's a very soft feel, again, incredibly lightweight. The star rotor, also in a black, probably like a black anodized finish or something in the back there. Very cool watch. And in my opinion, for something like this, where you have this kind of technology of materials, I think we're asking $13,000 or so for this watch. I think that's a really nice price point to get into something like this, where usually this kind of tech you get, in the realm of Richard Mille and things like that. So very cool watch. Then I have one that's kind of near and dear to my heart. While I didn't own this exact reference, it was really the second nice watch that I owned was an IWC Portuguese Regulator. And we were discussing the Portuguese last night and how excellent those watches are. And so I thought I would pull another one for today. A regulator is a watch where the hours, the minutes, and the seconds are each given their own pivot and kind of exist in their own space on the dial. And the idea behind this was that if you were a watch or a clockmaker and you had a clock in your shop that you would use to regulate all of the watches and clocks you were working on too, you never wanted the minute hand to be obscured by the slower moving hour hand, or the seconds hand for that matter, because you wanted to very precisely read the time. So the idea was that the slowest moving hand, the hour hand, is up here by itself. The minute hand is in the center where you can clearly read everything, and then the seconds hand down here at the bottom. And again, it's all about kind of hyper legibility. And to me, it's just very interesting. I think they're cool looking. I like the fact that on these, they do this manual wind movement that resembles the original pocket watches that were made by F.A. Jones, the founder of IWC. And if you see those original watches, they did a really nice job of kind of replicating that with this massive balance and that regulating arm and everything. So this in stainless steel is an interesting addition. This is the Wempe edition. I had the standard one. The only difference is with the Wempe, obviously you get their name here, which actually adds nice balance to the dial. And you get Romans at the top instead of the Arabics. So a really lovely watch. It's traditional to IWC. It's on the bigger side, but it wears beautifully. If we get a standard one again, I would seriously consider re-adding that to the collection. And then, for the grand finale, I had to bring out the Patek 5074. This is a grand complication from Patek Philippe. We have a perpetual calendar with a minute repeater. And this is a crazy one because this was made in basically a similar case to the 5070 chronograph, which is one of the bigger watches Patek had made, you know, pre-2016 when they started doing like the 5524 and things like that. So this was massive for Patek at the point when they made this. And the reason they did that is that there are cathedral gongs in this watch, which sound incredible. So I'm going to move these hands forward a little bit so that we get a good amount of chiming here. And then I'm going to set this off for all of you. Like that sound, if you've heard repeaters before, if you've ever heard any kind of repeaters, like the sound of the Patek's is unparalleled. Nothing comes close to these. And then to add to that, to get that beautiful perpetual calendar layout where it almost looks like a 3940 or a 3970, but with the Arabic numerals from like a 5004 on there. I mean, it's a monster watch, right? This is not a mortal watch, as we would say here at the store. I don't know what to say that hasn't been said, but it's absolute masterpiece. To think about somebody sitting there tuning these gongs, which is really just this very thin piece of metal that surrounds the dial there, and then you have the hammers that strike it. Like, to sit there and to tune that and to get that level of resonance out of something that is so tiny, to me, is truly miraculous. And that's why repeaters are such fine instruments and why the price point on them is so far and above even, you know, you look at like a Paddock 10-day tourbillon, or you look at the 5204 perpetual calendar split second. Like, those are also very expensive watches, but then that jump to repeaters is very significant, and it's because of that time and effort that goes into them. And to get to hear something like that and experience it is really, really wild. So that's my 5. I hope you enjoyed it. 5 watches that I enjoy very much, and I think, again, like we were talking about last night, show you how you can appreciate the range and how there's really something for everybody in this hobby. So thank you all for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you next week. Our horological happy hour is not going to be on Thursday because we're going to be closed that day in observance of a holiday. So I think we're planning on a Friday afternoon, but we'll keep you posted. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.